He's, of course, former assistant to the president, director of the Office of Trade and Manufacturing Policy, so the man knows what he's talking about. But Peter, before we get into anything else, I want to know what it feels like to be attacked by the administrative state. What happened with you and the FBI?
Well, let's see. When I was in college, they taken a philosophy course, Jesse. I read Kafka, right? And it would take me more than 50 years to understand Kafka. And it was the day, June 3rd, that I understood it when I was on my way to Nashville to do a filming on the Mike Huckabee show. And lo and behold, as I got into the jetway, 3 armed agents from the FBI close in behind me and 2 are at the door. And the next thing I know, I'm in handcuffs. And 20 minutes later, I'm in leg irons, strip searched. And I wind up in the cell same cell as John Hinckley was in when he shot Ronald Reagan. So that's what it feels like. And at some level, it was a surreal experience. Basically, as I was in solitary confinement, stripped of my phone, unable to call an attorney, in clear violation my Fourth Amendment rights. The government immediately leaked the arrest to the press, so it was all over the news. And the clear intent was to publicly humiliate and punish me in the eyes of the public, and effectively make an example of me even before I was arraigned before a judge. So that's what it feels like. And what the issue's about, Jesse, it's not about me. It's not even about Donald Trump, although what they're trying to do is put both me and Trump in jail to silence us and to prevent us from our political activities. What the issue is really about is this principle known as executive privilege, and the collateral principle of what's called testimonial immunity. The whole idea, Jesse, dating back to George Washington, is that top advisors like me in the White House should be able to have candid conversations with the president and other advisors so as to promote the most effective decision-making possible. I mean, it's a very high-minded reason for executive privilege. It's a good thing, and nobody really disagrees with the fact that executive privilege is a good thing. But what the government's trying to do is destroy that as we know it. The ends justify the means. They're trying to get to Trump, and in this case, this is about this so-called select committee, the January 6th committee that you've seen endlessly on primetime. It is a committee that's not properly constituted, doesn't have the right amount of members, imbalanced in terms of the partisanship. It's not duly authorized. They don't have a ranking member. Really, in a nutshell, has no legal authority to issue valid subpoenas. And so I'm caught in the middle of a situation in which President Trump has clearly invoked executive privilege in this matter. And as a senior advisor, it's not my privilege to waive. That's a really key legal point, Jesse. And so I have the choice of either dishonoring the privilege and going and submitting to this kangaroo court's will, or doing what I have chosen to do, which is to honor the Constitution, do my duty to my commander-in-chief and to this country. And I wound up in leg irons. And thanks for showing the book, Taking Back Trump's America, because astonishingly, when I wrote it, I never imagined it would be my legal defense fund. But I'm facing about $1 million in legal costs because I'm facing up to 2 years in prison for a charge that nobody has ever been treated like this or put in prison for in the whole history of our republic. And so I think it's the extreme example of what the Democrats have been trying to do for 5 years, which is to put the Trump people behind bars and out of power.
Peter, not to be a Debbie Downer, and I'm sure this is stuff you've all considered, but I got to tell you, it's on my mind, my friend. I see how they have treated other January 6th people, and from judges, Trump judges, Reagan judges, Obama judges, it doesn't matter, juries. They have tossed the book at them because this is an area that's all Democrat. It's all blue. How in the world are you supposed to get any kind of a fair trial in an area like this?
Well, look, the issue of the protesters, rioters, whatever you want to call them, on Capitol Hill that January 6th day, it's an important issue, and I think it's clear that many of those folks have not been charged with any crime yet, have been held without bail in conditions worse than, say, Guantanamo Bay for terrorists. There is that, but in my case, this is not that. Okay, this is something very different conceptually and legally. I was a high-ranking member of the White House. Nobody's accused me of having anything to do with the January 6th thing. I wasn't there. All I've done in this case is point out to the people who are trying to put me in prison that President Trump has invoked executive privilege in the matter. It's not my privilege to waive. And legally, what these people should do is, as the first and least burdensome alternative, is go to President Trump and his attorneys, try to waive the privilege. I said, hey, if they waive it, I'll talk to you. They did not do that. They have not done that. That's illegal on their part. The second thing they could have done, again, the least burdensome alternative required by the Supreme Court and the law, is to file a civil suit. They did not do that. Instead, they came at me not only with criminal charges, Jesse, and here's the thing that the people watching this show should be really disturbed about. It's like they didn't just charge me. It's like they they let me get all the way to the airport and took me down publicly with 5 FBI agents and leaked it to the press. Okay, why is that interesting? See this building here? Right, this is the Department of Justice, right? I actually took this picture from my apartment, and what you're missing is right over here is the FBI. So I live like literally 50 yards from the FBI and 100 yards from the Department of Justice. And I told these people 2 days before the arrest, I said, hey, you need anything? Just call me. And the general procedure in cases of what's called white collar crime, there's no fraud involved in mine. There's no chance of flight risk or anything. It's willful surrender. They give you a call. They say, hey, we got an arrest warrant for you. Come on down. We'll book you, and we'll set bail and you'll be on your way. Right? None of that, Jesse. None of that. They went for the friggin' juggler. And if they can come for me, they can come for you. They can come for anybody. You say the wrong thing, Jesse, they'll be knocking on your friggin' door.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History. Che Guevara, the latest episode of a new series available now exclusively for First TV supporters. Visit the First TV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.